Right, how do you break 100?
It's the amount of people that I know that Google this question and YouTube this question because it's one of those massive golfing milestones, isn't it?
Well, because you may have just started golf, you've been going for a year or so, and you keep shooting 105, 110, 120, and 100 becomes this milestone, and you don't know what you're doing wrong because you've got good enough to hit good shots, but to put the scores together, it's just not happening. Well, happily, Tom and I here at Golf is Ruining My Life, the podcast, do check us out.
Yep.
We've got a solution which I'd quite like to get branded up and become our sort of guidebook tutorial.
Yeah. So there's loads of different things that you can do, but I think the one thing that I would really advise to do, which would be a quick win, because obviously, lessons, obviously, do lessons. That'd
Practice, yeah, sure.
Practice, all that stuff you definitely do. That'll help. I do think there is a real advantage to removing some golf clubs from your golf bag and stripping it down a little bit and taking out the clubs that stereotypically, if you can't break 100, you're probably not hitting that well.
Yeah, exactly.
Long irons.
Yeah.
Don't have them in your bag. Because if you can't break 100, I would think you'd be better tracking yourself down a fairway with a 7-iron than trying to hit a punchy little 4-iron or a big 3-wood that goes nowhere near the green.
The thing is, I know that removing golf clubs from your bag might feel a bit impure and a bit like we're telling you off somehow. You don't need all those. You're not good enough for all those. That's not in the least what we're doing. The problem is that when you're not breaking 100, it's because you're too wild. It's because things are going everywhere. You've got to find those clubs that you can hit okay. Not brilliantly, but okay, a 5-iron or a 7-iron or whatever it is, and lean on those clubs. And it might be boring, and sure, you don't want to do it every time. You want to still play with a full set of clubs, for goodness sake. We're not suggesting that. But to do it just once or twice, strip the clubs down, take too many choices away. You have too many choices.
Yeah.
And you are not judging which one of those options is best for you. You're just going, what do I need? And what you need is to get on the green, of course, so you just try and get on the green or whatever. What you need to do is come back a step and go, well, what can I do here? What can I do? Well, what I can do is get just over there with a 9-iron. And that's a lot closer to the green. Instead of going, I need to get on the green with a 3-iron, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, forget about it.
Can get an 8-iron close.
And this is, we're not saying play like this every single time. I'm just saying if you've got this big thing in your mind, which is, I really want to break 100.
Exactly.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's holding back my golf because it's such a mental block that I can't get past. Then there are ways that you can do it. Just put a 7-iron in your... I mean, what clubs... There's the thing. What clubs are we doing then?
So I would take a 3 or a 5-wood. The driver's too wild, too dangerous. This is my personal experience. I think a driver's really hard to hit and also requires a slightly different swing with a driver when you're coming up on the ball like that. Give yourself a 3 or 5 or a rescue if you've got one. Then I'd start your irons maybe at a 6-iron, 8-iron, and then maybe a wedge, a pitching wedge, maybe a sand wedge and a putter. And that's all you need. And this is the crucial thing. You do it once or twice to try and break 100. Then you bring all your clubs back and there's lessons that you'll have learnt from doing that you will then incorporate when you've got a full set of clubs again. You will remember and go, when I broke 100 with only half a set of clubs, in this exact position, I could only take my 6-iron here. So I'm going to do that again, rather than going crazy with a 3-wood.
Yeah, and it's so... I think it's really helpful for par 5s. There's so many par 5s that I can think of at our golf course where, okay, you've hit a good drive, and there is a chance that you could get really near the green here with a 3-wood.
Yeah.
So you take the 3-wood and you top it into the water. I'm thinking of like the 5th or whatever it is. Whereas you'd be better going, okay, you've hit your good drive shot. I know it pains you to do it. You're just going to hit a pitching wedge.
Yeah.
And you're going to put yourself in a position where the next shot is like an 8-iron. So that's very specific to Muswell Hill where we play. But I think you want to be forced into making those what are fundamentally the right decisions for breaking 100.
Yeah.
So I would strip the bag out. I like the driver, and I've always been able to hit the driver.
You are good with a driver.
So I say keep the driver because I think if you can play it, it really works for you. But if you can't, then maybe it's a 3-wood, but I've always struggled to hit the 3-wood. So I think it's driver, 7-iron, pitching wedge, 58 degree, and putter.
Yeah, that's nice.
I think genuinely, if you're struggling to break 100, the next time you play, put those in your bag, sort of caveated that you can hit the driver, and see how it goes.
Just do it over 9 holes. If it feels boring and sad. The other thing as well is if you're taking a pitching wedge more often to lay up, you're hitting more pitching wedges, you're going to get better at those shots as well. So actually, you're practicing a new type of shot.
I also think that the bump and run is your friend. Forget about these little shots with 58-degree wedges or any wedges around the green. Don't bother with these little finessey shots, because if you can't break 100, you probably don't have them in the locker. Yeah, you can hit them every now and again. Little 9-9 bump and run.
Yeah.
And that shot
How long, what distance? 60 yards, you think?
I could do all sorts. Genuinely, I could do all sorts with that shot. Like, I could be 60 yards up to 15 yards just off the green. It's so versatile.
Having fewer clubs in your bag will make you create more and do different things, exactly as you're describing. You'll get a more versatile bump and run that, you know, you've got to do the 9-9 because you don't have any other clubs around there, so you play the 9-9 bump and run. Whereas when you've got all the clubs, you'll be like, I'll try my pitching wedge. Well, that hasn't worked, I'll try my sandwich next time, or I'll try my 9-9. If you only have a certain club every time, you've got to learn how to hit it. It's so good.
And also put everything. Just if you can put it, because the reason that I got okay at golf, and I'm not great, you know, I play off 10. I'm an okay golfer. I got better at golf by just being really boring, really, really, really boring. And to be honest, it's now what holds me back getting to the next level of golf, because I don't take as many risks. But if I'm looking at a sort of bump and run off the green scenario, and people go, take a 58-degree, you know, have a nice little shot that bites or whatever.
Yeah.
I know how that shot can go wrong for me, which is I thin it out the back. Right? I chunk it 1 yard.
Yeah.
You're never going to do that with a putter.
I think that's really, really good advice, because even if a putter from off the green goes wrong, it's still going to be fine. It's going to be better than when a wedge goes.
It can't go that wrong.
Thinning a chip is the worst thing that can happen on a golf course.
Yeah.
When you know you've done it, as soon as you've hit the ball, and it's a disaster, because maybe it's your third shot into a par 4, and you're still thinking up and down for a par, or maybe up and down for a 5 for a bogey. You thin it off the side, you chip it on too far away, you're 2-putt, suddenly it's a 7.
It's a hole ruiner. And that's what we're trying to get rid of to break 100,
Exactly.
is those hole ruiners. We don't need pars, we don't need birdies. What we're trying to get rid of is your doubles and your triples.
Exactly.
Bogey golf, guys, so boring, but this is what's gonna do it.
Yeah, but it's great. It's so exciting when you break it, and you won't just break it; you'll smash it. You'll shoot 92 or something. Like it will change so much. Try over 9 holes. Try it by yourself as well, so you don't feel the pressure of other people going, "Why are you hitting a wedge there? Why aren't you hitting your 2-iron off the fairway?" Do it by yourself. Do it over 9 holes, and it also, as I say, there's something about doing it almost as an exercise that when you then go back to a full round with a full set of clubs, it leaves little lessons in your brain.
Oh yeah,
it leaves a state of mind,
because you say you end up being so much more creative with what you've got. And also, if you are a golf club member, you're going to learn how to play these holes now. You're going to learn that those par 5s, it is driver, 7-iron, 7-iron, and you're actually on. Yeah. And you know you can hit a 7-iron. You've got a 7-iron in the locker. You know you can do that. Yeah. Then why would you go driver, 3-wood pitching wedge when you know 5 times out of 10 that 3-wood... Did I say that right?
Yeah. That 3 was going to go wild.
Yeah, it's going to go over there.
Not 5 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, you know, that's just... It's not going to happen. So...
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically, go and be dull and have our blessing.
Yes.
We love you because you're dull. Of course you're dull. You're still watching now. You must be quite a dull person. So take that onto the golf course, right? And it will improve your score, and it will give you more enjoyment. And then when you go and play a full-blooded, when you're back on solids...
Yes. And it will happen.
And it will happen. Then you can feel a bit like, I'll remember the dull golfer inside. And sometimes on every hole, you might think, do I need my dull golfer here? And it'll give you that choice. That's a much better choice. Should I deploy dull golfer here? That is a really clever choice to make sometimes.